Hello, I'm Darren again. Today's question asks, what is Othello syndrome? So in this video, I'm going to look at what it is, where it comes from, and look at some of the common signs and characteristics behind it. But I would like to remind you this video is for information purposes only. So Othello syndrome, sometimes also known as delusional jealousy or morbid jealousy or sexual jealousy. But the term itself came from psychiatrist John Todd in a paper he published entitled The Othello Syndrome, a study in the psychopathology of sexual jealousy. It's named after Shakespeare's play Othello, in which the character Othello becomes so obsessed by his wife's fidelity, he resorts to violence as a means to control her. Now, Othello syndrome does affect both men and women, but it seems to be more prevalent in men. It is a mental health disorder where someone is convinced their partner is being unfaithful, often without any evidence they believe their partner has or is cheating on them, and they become obsessed by it. Now, that being said, suspicions around a partner's fidelity alone are not indicative of Othello syndrome. The partner may have a history of cheating, or there may not necessarily be evidence, but certain indicators, for example, they may openly flirt with others or constantly talk about other men or other women. They may lie a lot. But like with most disorders, the key word is disorder. It is pervasive, it is consistent, and I often think of it as the impact it has on a person's day-to-day functioning, as well as the impact it has on their relationship with themselves, as well as their relationship with other people. So the thoughts of infidelity become so obsessive that they prompt a compulsive response. Now, they could constantly be contacting their partner if they aren't around. They may stalk them, follow them, constantly go through their personal belongings, maybe check their phones, their internet history. Some have even been known to plant recording devices. And some people with Othello syndrome may recognize the thoughts are obsessive and intrusive, but they find it difficult to manage the compulsions. Other times they may be delusional. It could be a subtype of delusion disorder, so they don't recognize the thoughts as being unreal. So some of the common signs of Othello syndrome would be constantly focusing on the partner's infidelity to the point where it is the predominant topic of conversation. There are repeated accusations which they cannot prove, but the partner might not necessarily be able to disprove them either. For example, how can you prove you weren't thinking about something or someone? Now, any evidence the partner does have to their innocence, some people with Othello syndrome may actually see that as evidence of denial or covering up. Another sign would be excessive control over the partner. Who they talk to, what were they talking about, what was the topic of conversation, to the point where they want that conversation replayed again and again, word for word, almost looking for any discrepancy that could prove that they're lying. One way or another, the partner often feels as if they're being constantly interrogated. There could be constantly monitoring their online behavior. What was it they posted? What did they like or comment on? Or who liked or commented on their posts? Who is that person? How do you know them? There can even be controlling of their partner's daily schedules, daily routines. Sometimes they even insist their partner stops work, leaves their job because there is someone there they're either cheating with or they might cheat with. Now, in the play Othello, he invents examples of evidence. With Othello syndrome, sometimes the change in their partner's facial expression, their tone of voice, or their singing along to a song on the radio, or a reaction to something, that becomes evidence that their partner is up to no good. And just like in the play, there are extreme cases of maybe wanting to seek revenge, to harm themselves, to harm the partner. There have been cases where this has led to domestic violence, physical abuse, and in some very extreme cases, even homicide. Now, people with Othello syndrome can be triggered differently. Now, a trigger is something that prompts an overwhelming emotional response. Now, that will either reveal or worsen the symptoms. Men, for example, they could be triggered by a perceived physical infidelity such as kissing, touching, sex. Women could be triggered by perceived emotional infidelity, such as the development of a close interpersonal friendship or a very close working relationship with someone at the office. But what actually triggers them could be something quite insignificant or innocent actions, for example, being a few minutes late, answering a text, or perhaps not answering a text, being seen talking to someone, a deviation from an expected behavior or routine. All of these things can trigger the suspicion. Now, there are common causes, but there's no actual universal cause of Othello syndrome. There could be other mental health disorders relating to jealousy or obsessive thinking. One type of delusional thought can sometimes develop into other kinds of delusional thoughts and delusional thinking. There is also a correlation between the misuse of alcohol and drugs. Now, alcohol and drugs are mind-altering substances. They can increase both the severity and the frequency of the obsessive thoughts. Continued consumption of alcohol or drugs can also worsen the symptoms. And also, people with deep personal insecurities can also have a higher chance of developing Othello syndrome, especially if they form insecure attachments to other people. Now, there is no specific cure for Othello syndrome, but it can be managed, and the treatment really depends on the symptoms as well as the severity of the symptoms that are exhibited by the individual. It can also involve taking into account other mental health difficulties the person may be experiencing. Treatment could even include addressing issues around addiction. Antipsychotic or antidepressant medication is sometimes prescribed to help alleviate the symptoms. Therapy can also help by looking at ways to maintain healthier thought patterns and beliefs, and looking at ways to manage compulsive behavior. So that's a brief outline of Othello syndrome. Now, as always, if there's anything I've missed, please feel free to use the comment box below. If you found this video interesting or helpful, please consider subscribing to my channel. And until next time, thanks for watching.